Welcome back to the College of Design's podcast. I'm Lauren Johnson, a communications specialist here at the college and producer of this podcast. Now, this week is a special one on campus. It's homecoming week, and we have the pleasure of welcoming 6 of our distinguished alumni back to campus for some festivities, an award ceremony, and some time to connect with our students. Now, today I am joined with Lindrea Reynolds, who's a recipient of the 2024 Design Achievement Awards. Lindrea.
Hello. Hello.
Yes. Now, Lindrea is the founder and CEO of LR Brand Consulting, or LRBC, and just to name a few of her accomplishments, she's provided guidance to companies like Google, Yahoo, Public Relations Society of America, Fifth Third Bank, and the University of Chicago to help them shape multi-generational learning pathways, increase brand engagement, and help leaders amplify their influence for positive impact. Now, Lindrea, thank you so much for being here today. And let's help our audience get to know you a little bit better. What led you to the College of Design, and how did your education serve as a foundation to make you who you are today?
Well, Lauren, thanks again for having me today. What led me to the College of Design at Iowa State University? Well, I think I'll show my age here. When I was in high school, I knew that I was always good at art. I loved art and English. They were my subjects. And I had this fantastic art teacher who I told him I wanted to merge art and computers. I was like, I want to do something around that. And he said, I think you want to be a graphic designer. That's what it sounds like. So I took an AP graphic design course through UIC and off campus. And after I finished my course, looking for different schools, Iowa State had a great design program. It was a competitive design program. It was scary because if you didn't get in your freshman year, you had to just kind of keep starting over. But I was like, I want to go. And Iowa State was also different from Chicago. Chicago, very fast-paced, born and raised, south side of Chicago. I wanted something different. I wanted something slower. I needed something new. And so I was like, I'm going to go to Iowa. I'm going to go to Iowa with the cornfields. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And so that's what led me here. I looked into it. Even on our drive here, my husband asked me, did you visit the campus before you came? I said, I did not. I did not visit the campus. I looked at the photos. I believed what I saw. It looked beautiful. When I arrived, it was beautiful. And so that's what led me to Iowa State University. The campus was beautiful, the program was competitive, and I just needed a change of scenery.
Yeah, so obviously you were connected to a network of our faculty and other students. Are you still in contact with any of them? Did they kind of shape you into who you are today?
Oh my gosh. So on my way here, Brenda Jones crossed my mind. She's like my mentor. So Brenda Jones has a great place in my heart because one of my first encounters with her when I was working on this Big 12 conference, Collateral, and I was collaborating with another student, great artist, could really draw really well. And the project was called Construction Before Destruction. And I remember having conflict with the illustration because even though it was beautiful, I wasn't sure that it actually embodied the purpose of the conference. Brenda wasn't my professor. We hadn't crossed paths at that time. I just knew she was this phenomenal Black woman, and I think at the time maybe the only Black female professor in the College of Design. And so I went to her, and she said, this is serious. This is serious work that you're doing. You have to advocate for your work, and you're going to always have to advocate for your work. So it starts today. You do not let this pass. And it's interesting because that was the project that helped me get my first job. It was her guidance, her direction, her mentorship. And even now, we on LinkedIn, she always tags me. She's always she literally just on a post said, congratulations. I received a 40 Under 40 Game Changers award, and she said, congratulations, I'm so proud of you. And I knew she was special too, because my mother's name is Brenda, and I said, if your name is Brenda, and my mother's name is Brenda,
it's meant to be.
It's meant to be. Yes. So yes, Brenda Jones for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, no, Brenda's great. She's still one of our wonderful faculty at the college. Well, my next question would be, a lot of your professional work does focus on uplifting marginalized communities, whether it was working to create compelling visual communications for After School Matters and Chicago Public Schools, or working with Project Osmosis, a nonprofit committed to empowering youth designers from under-resourced communities. What drew you to these initiatives?
Well, that's a great question, Lauren. I mentioned earlier, I'm from the south side of Chicago. I grew up during a time where we played outside all the time, double dutch, like four corners, just, we were outside a lot. And I also had a couple of friends who were just sometimes into things that they shouldn't have been into. But when you're kids, I think as kids, you don't really know. You just know this friend disappeared. You don't know where they went, came back, and we're still outside playing. And as I got older and I saw even some of my cousins, some of their friends lose lives and different things like that, or just seeing youth maybe go in a direction that they didn't need to go, I knew that I needed to do something to influence their path. And if it was using my craft through design or mentorship, then I was going to do it because it was my goal. The way I was fortunate enough to have be raised in a two-parent household, and my dad is a protector, and my mother she's an advocate. She fought for my schooling. She fought for everything. Both of them, it was like, you're going to have the best. I was a first-generation college student, first-generation entrepreneur. I'm a first of a lot. And so if I could help a student or a young person redirect their paths so that they may be the first in their family, or gratefully they're the second. If I can help direct their path in any way, we're using my craft, that's what I wanted to do. And so I think it's our responsibility to have a ripple effect of positivity in this world. If we are fortunate enough, if we're fortunate enough to be given opportunities to have guidance, mentorships, the Brendas in my life, the Lindales, my dad and my brother, my younger brother, if we're fortunate enough to have people in our lives who have served as mentors, guides, and directors on our paths, then it's our responsibility to give it back, period. I couldn't go out and graduate from this work and be focused only on myself and my own success. I have to bring others up with me. It's my responsibility.
Yeah, and I think you said that really well, and I think one thing that is so interesting about I guess in Iowa State University education is that you are able to get this graphic design degree, but you were able to do so much with it. Yeah, I mean, how do you, when you were here on campus, I know you mentioned Brenda kind of helped you realize your power. Were there any other opportunities where you realized, this design degree is so much more than what I ever could have thought?
When I was on campus, I felt like, God, Laura, I took part in a lot of stuff. I was like, I try to take every moment to partake in designing big things, whether it was conference, if it was kind of multifaceted materials, or also just engaging in student support services. I was the president of student support services, and also while I was on campus, being one of the only few of my friends to actually get into the program, I watched a lot of my friends. A lot of my friends did not get into the graphic design or the architecture program. So while I was here, I started doing portfolio reviews of students, freshmen coming in, particularly students of color, because it was so few of us. And so I'm like, okay, what is happening? Why aren't we getting in? And I know a lot of students were coming from out of town. You come from Chicago. We're freshmen. We want to have fun. I mean, that's what you do, And so, but I wanted to kind of break that pattern of rejection. And so I started doing portfolio reviews while I was here. And someone who helped to influence that was Dr. Hill. I think he retired a few years ago, but to see this incredible black man as the vice president of student affairs, all student affairs, and he really empowered me to, hey, pay it back while you're here, while you're on campus. So I did a lot of that work while I was here. Dr. Hill, Japana Kellogg, Student Support Services. He influenced me when I was a president of Student Support Services. Dr. Hill helped me get a scholarship. I was a community advisor for Frederickson Court. So I felt like I was a little landlord over 3 buildings. And so even that kind of belief in me taught me leadership skills, management skills, people skills, you know. And when you're a president of an organization, or you're the lead creative director for a big conference on campus, or you're managing 3 buildings and you're responsible for making sure students are safe and they're following directions, and these are your peers, that's already scary. So doing that type of work on top of being a student, helped me to also know I wanted to run my own business. I was prepared. I was running stuff while I was here. And so I didn't see myself as only being a designer. I saw myself as being an influencer in the design industry.
Yeah. So obviously all of these experiences, both on campus and your professional career, have led up to your being one of our homecoming awardees. What does this recognition mean for you?
It means a lot. It really is. I'm honored. It's humbling. I graduated with some great people. Great people come out of Iowa State. And so to know that the work that I've done over the course of my career has value is important to me. I think that anytime there's an opportunity to get some type of accolade or recognition, it's another opportunity to continue to amplify the importance of having impact in this world. That's what's important to me. If I'm put on a platform and I'm able to share how important it is to illuminate the good in this world, I'll take it. And so it's an honor because this is my alma mater, and I had a good time here at Iowa State. Some people are not. They may not have great memories and not want to go back to their school, but to be honored by Iowa State, it matters to me because I love my school. And so it's an honor, and I'm grateful.
Yeah, well, we're thrilled, obviously, to have you back. My next question would be, there might be some students or maybe people who are already in the industry who are inspired by what you were saying here today. You know, what would be a piece of advice that stuck with you, maybe some advice you needed to hear when you were coming up? Anything you want to share?
I have a mentor. I had a mentor. Now he says I'm his peer. He's like, yeah, I'm not your mentor. His name is Vernon Lockhart. Project Osmosis is mentioned here. And he runs the organization really helps kids, like starting from like preschool, like really own their creativity and identify their gifts in the arts. And so I volunteered a lot there when I first graduated. And I would say 2 things. Don't shy away from volunteering and giving up your time. Volunteering is what got me opportunities. Being in the right room and volunteering and sharing my time is actually what got me noticed by people. Prime example, with Google as a client. I volunteered as a board director for another youth organization, and I was introduced. My project manager contact at Google also served on that board, and so we were introduced to each other even once I left the board. So I wasn't even on the board anymore, but my time was spent well there. I was respected there, and so the introduction was made because I volunteered with them. And so, and they'll Google as a client. So volunteer your time. The other thing is stay on your mission. And so that's what, I'll circle back to what Vernon told me. He told me to stay on my mission. And as you navigate your career and move from role to role, responsibility to responsibility, it may be location to different location, stay true to your mission. Don't let anyone get you off your mission. It will follow you. I don't do a lot of graphic design anymore. I do a lot of overseeing of the entire creative process from writing to the execution of a design project. Sometimes it's all writing. So I always say, I may not physically design through the arts right now, but I design experiences, for people and organizations. And so, but my mission is to illuminate the world with good. So wherever I go, I'm taking my craft with me, and I'm staying on my mission to illuminate the world with good. So don't let anyone take you off your mission. If they try to, they're not a good fit. And you hold just as much value as the organization that you're with, the supervisor that you report to, and the colleagues that you share space with. And so that would be what I would say to an up-and-coming creative coming out of Iowa State who's about to take on the world.
Mm-hmm. Well said. Yes. So before we get out of here, I have a few fun, we're going to switch gears a little bit, some few fun questions for you. So I'm also from the Chicago suburbs, and I'm well aware of all the fun things that you can do in the city. Yes. So when you are not creating a new brand strategy or public speaking or just being an all-around amazing human being, what do you do to unwind, hang out, sightsee?
Oh, God.
Who are you? What are the hobbies? I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh, my goodness. What do I do to unwind?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my gosh. That's a good question. That's sad that I can't answer it quick enough. What do I do to unwind?
Or tell us about the puppy. You have one puppy or multiple?
I have one little Pomeranian whose name is Adobe. Isn't that crazy? Like, and I always tell people, they're like, "Oh, Adobe, like the house, like the homes." I said, "No, like the product." Creative Suite,
yes. Adobe Creative Suite, yes.
But what I enjoy outside of, I like painting. I enjoy painting. I like competitive stuff. Like I like playing sports. I used to play basketball in high school, and even at Iowa State, I did intramural sports. So I played basketball, I played flag football, and so I love sports. I can unwind by playing some Mortal Kombat with my husband, and I love good movies. I'm a movie person. I feel like in another life, I'd be a movie critic or something like that. I have one of my best friends is an actress. Her name's Carmen, and we will sit there and just dissect movies and laugh and joke. And we're like, we need to start a podcast the way we're talking about these movies. But I'm like, well, thank you. I always tell her, thank you for your time, because you're a thespian. Mm-hmm. I'm just, talking about it because I like it. But I love movies. I love competitive things, painting. I love eating, exploring the city, just being out and about. Chicago is beautiful. So even just taking walks downtown and just in the summertime, of course, and even winter, it's like a winter wonderland. If you go down to Navy Pier and the skating and different things like that. And so it really is beautiful. I feel like in recent years, probably since the pandemic, I've become more of a homebody.
Oh, yes. I think a lot of people can identify with that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's probably why I can't remember anything, because I feel like, are you an Avengers fan? Oh, when they had the little, that piece, it was like a blur. It was something that it just made everything disappear. They came back. I feel like since the pandemic.
Oh, Thanos?
Thanos, yeah. Like I just lost track of whatever happened pre-2020. So
you and me both. Just jump cut to 2024.
Jump cut. I'm here. That's what I know. I'm in Iowa right now.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Lindrea, for joining me on the podcast today. I think this was a really good conversation, and I think listeners will really glean some really good gems from what you had to say here today. So again, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me, Lauren. It's amazing to be back on campus, and I'm glad to be sitting with someone who also represents our great city of Chicago.
Yes, of course. Yes. Well, thank you so much, and thank you again for listening to the College of Design podcast. We'll see you next time.